no surprise that the Indiana Fever looked best tonight when Caitlin Clark was surrounded by players that don't have an ego, surrounded by players that said, I'm going to be MVP of the WNBA this year. And you see how easy it is when you just let Caitlin play ball and others follow.
At long last, after months of doubt, after enduring every jab from critics and haters alike, Caitlin Clark delivered the reminder the world needed. She's still that girl. Last night, the Indiana Fever didn't just defeat the Atlanta Dream. They dismantled them, 99-82, in a statement win that silenced every whisper suggesting this team, or this player, might somehow be better without their superstar.
Final 99-82. Right here, 29 points in the third quarter, 30 points in the fourth quarter. That might be the best second half of the season, the best fourth quarter of the season. Look at these bench points. 29 bench points tonight. And they withstood an absolute barrage by Jordan Canada, who had 26 points in the first.
They said the Fever were better without Caitlin Clark, called her ball dominant, claimed the team had more weapons when she wasn't on the floor. So, where are those voices now? Because Friday night didn't just challenge that narrative, it burned it to the ground. What we witnessed was a masterclass in control, and the best part, Clark didn't need to light up the scoreboard to dominate the game. She dictated it on her terms, efficient, unbothered, undeniable.
Inconsistent ride for Indiana and for Clark as well, who's had to fight through a lot of injuries. But I think the encouraging thing from Cece was the fight that she showed on the floor. Clearly, she's not quite at 100%, still working her way back, hasn't found her three ball yet. But what she did was attack. She used the physicality against the defenders by putting her head down and going to the basket. That opened things up for her playmaking, which of course is another genius aspect of her game. Once that started clicking,
Let's talk about what really happened. Sophie Cunningham came off the bench like she was on a mission, dropping 16 points, snatching 10 rebounds, and putting on an absolute masterclass. But here's the best part. This wasn't Cunningham shining in spite of Caitlin Clark. This was Cunningham thriving because of her. The chemistry between the two was electric, crackling through every possession, every cut, every kick out. It wasn't just basketball, it was synchronized brilliance.
Cunningham, folks, this might have been the best Sophie Cunningham game she's played so far for the Indiana Fever. When she hit those nail-in-the-coffin threes against the Minnesota Lynx, we were already up in that game. Yes, nail-in-the-coffin, awesome. But we were down in the third quarter. We were down 52-47 in the third quarter. And we came back and won. And that started with Sophie Cunningham hitting a big...
The haters had weeks to push their narrative, saying the Fever was somehow more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. ESPN's Carolyn Peck even went on national television and said it out loud. Indiana plays better when Clark doesn't play. Can you believe that? The audacity. They actually tried to convince us that the most electric rookie in WNBA history, the one breaking records, packing arenas, and dragging the league into the spotlight, was a liability. But Friday night was a cold-blooded reminder. That was revenge, served ice cold.
I say that they need Caitlin Clark. I mean, come on, guys. See, this is why you don't listen to ESPN. Idiots like Carolyn Peck said they are more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. She should be indicted and go to jail for that comment. That's one of the dumbest.
Clark's stat line read 12 points and 9 assists. But don't let the box score fool you. She shot just 5 of 17 from the field and struggled from beyond the arc. Yet her fingerprints were all over the game. She was the orchestrator, the floor general, the engine that made everything hum. And when the Fever found themselves down 3 in the third quarter, it was Clark's leadership, poise, and surgical court vision that flipped the switch, turning a tight contest into a full-on blowout.
So, the big way they were able to neutralize Caitlin Clark, and I think it was almost an issue with Stephanie White as much as anything, is they were manhandling her. They were manhandling Caitlin Clark early in that game. Like, they had 2 hands on her. They were fully getting into the we are grabbing her and we don't really care. Like, that was their goal. Their goal was they were out there to maul Caitlin Clark. They had they had absolutely no intention of doing anything.
If you're enjoying this, make sure to subscribe. It only gets better from here. Now let's talk about what made this game so beautiful. It was Sophie Cunningham coming off the bench like a woman possessed. Oh, my goodness. Sophie Cunningham. She lit the Atlanta Dream on fire, draining 4 of 5 from deep and hitting every shot when it counted most. Her season-high 16 points didn't just happen. They were a direct result of the gravity Caitlin Clark brings. Because when defenders are scrambling to cover Clark's 30-foot pull-ups, when they are chasing her through screens and collapsing on her drives, that's when players like Cunningham eat. And tonight, she feasted.
Go right here. Sophie Cunningham. Let's check it out. And she's got the long three way downtown. Boom. Way down, boom. Oh, real nice all-around performance. Second half was great ball tonight. No doubt about it. But Stephanie White let the team cook in the...
But here's what really made it special. The connection between Clark and Cunningham. You could see it. Every time Clark drove and kicked, Cunningham was locked, loaded, and ready to launch. Every time the dream collapsed on Clark, there was Sophie, wide open, in rhythm, and knocking it down. This is what happens when elite basketball IQ meets teammates who actually know how to play off each other. And that's the beauty of Sophie Cunningham. She gets it. She understands her role. She knows that when Caitlin Clark is on the floor, the game shifts. The tempo changes. The space opens up. The possibilities multiply. As Sophie herself put it. When she's playing with us, we play a different style of basketball. That's not criticism. That's not shade. That's basketball intelligence. That's what it looks like when players know how to maximize each other and their team's full potential.
Hey, you know what? It's about dang time. Let me tell you that. I have my... Shoot, it's been a second. I just think for the team, you know, we've had a lot of injuries. We've had a lot of movement. When C's playing, it's a whole different team. And when she's back, you know, we got to catch our rhythm. She's a heck of a player, but we got to find ways to get her involved, but keep people hot. But, you know, for me, it finally felt good. It felt good. Like I said, my family's here. My sister's my best friends. And so it just felt good to have my family here. So I thought I should...
The third quarter was the moment everything flipped. Down 63-60 with 3:38 left in the frame, the Fever locked in and never looked back. They held Atlanta without a single field goal for the rest of the quarter, closed it with a 4-0 burst, and then stormed into the fourth on an 11-2 run to take a commanding 80-67 lead. From there, it was double digits all the way to the final buzzer. But this wasn't about one player going nuclear. This was about Caitlin Clark's leadership elevating everyone around her. Kelsey Mitchell led the charge with 25 points. Aliyah Boston added 19 and dished out 8 assists. And suddenly, the Fever looked like the team everyone thought they could be back in training camp. They exploded for 59 points in the second half, their highest scoring half of the season, and tied for their best in the last 7 years. That's not luck. That's not random. That's what happens when you have a player who makes everyone around her better, who pulls defenders with her gravity, even when her shot won't fall, who creates opportunities, just by showing up.
Herself. We started playing an up-tempo type style that forced the Atlanta Dream to react to what we were doing. Instead of us trying to counterpunch, Atlanta Dream, they found themselves against the ropes. And there we were, Kelsey Mitchell in the third quarter, slugging away. Sophie Cunningham in the third quarter, slugging away. AB in the fourth quarter.
And speaking of players who couldn't make their presence felt, where exactly was Brittany Griner? Yes, that Brittany Griner. The one who's been vocal about her thoughts on certain players in the league, particularly Caitlin Clark. The one who's made it clear she doesn't appreciate the spotlight Clark commands. Yet when the lights were brightest and her team needed her most, Griner was quiet. 10 points, 8 rebounds, and a frustrating 4 of 11 from the field. That's all she had to offer. She looked out of rhythm all night, especially when matched up against Aliyah Boston, who gave her all she could handle in the paint. For someone touted as a dominant interior presence, for someone so outspoken about who shouldn't be getting attention, Griner did little to earn any for herself. This is the same player who was hyping things up pre-game, posting on social media with "Let's get it," only to get thoroughly outplayed by a Fever squad that many said was still figuring it out. Let's talk numbers. She's averaging career lows, 10 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. And Friday night, it showed exactly why.
This game, in the second half, we didn't take our foot off the gas. we put our foot on the throat of the Atlanta Dream. We didn't tell Caitlin Clark, whoa there, lassie. No, we said, Caitlin Clark, roam free. Fly like a butterfly. Flap your wings. Spread your wings. And watch the...
For months, we've been fed the tired narrative that the Fever are somehow better without Caitlin Clark. ESPN's Carolyn Peck even stirred things up by claiming Indiana was more dangerous when Clark didn't play, because she was too ball dominant. That noise only got louder when the Fever won a couple games during her injury absence. But here's what actually happened. The Fever went 2-3 in the 5 games Clark missed. They struggled to close. They lacked playmaking. They missed the clutch moments only she can create. In short, they looked exactly like what they were, a team without their best player. Friday night's performance? That was the definitive rebuttal. Clark didn't need to drop 30. She didn't need to fire up 20 shots. She just needed to be there, dictating pace, creating space, making everyone around her better. Her value isn't always in the box score. It's in the rhythm of the offense, the spacing, the swagger. The Fever reach their ceiling only when Caitlin Clark is on the floor. And Friday night proved it.